Right now, somewhere in your yard, there are plants growing that you may have spent years trying to remove. They appear beside sidewalks, between garden rows, near fence posts, and in the corners of lawns where grass struggles to grow. Many people pull them out without looking closely. Some spray them with chemicals every season. Others cover them with mulch, hoping they will finally disappear for good. And yet, somehow, these plants keep returning. After heavy rain, they come back. After dry weather, they come back. Even after long winters, many of them appear again before anything else begins growing. But what if the plants we call weeds are not actually the problem? What if some of the most nutritious and resilient plants in your yard are the very ones you were taught to destroy? That idea sounds strange at first. For decades, gardening advice focused on clean lawns, bare soil, and perfectly controlled garden beds. Anything growing outside that system was treated like an unwanted intruder. But nature often works differently than people expect. Sometimes the plants that survive the hardest conditions are also the plants with the most to offer. Many households spend hundreds of dollars every year on lawn treatments, weed killers, fertilizers, and maintenance. Yet some of the plants being removed contain vitamins, minerals, healthy fats, and natural benefits that are difficult to find even in expensive grocery store produce. And the surprising part is this. Most of these plants are already growing nearby. Some are growing only a few feet from your front door. Before explaining why this happened, it helps to understand how people once viewed these plants very differently. Long before modern lawn companies existed, many weeds were considered useful crops. Some were carried across oceans by settlers because they were dependable food sources. Others were valued for teas, soups, medicines, or animal feed. Farmers understood that certain wild plants could improve soil, survive poor weather, and provide nutrition when cultivated crops failed. Over time, that knowledge slowly faded. As modern lawns became more popular, anything growing outside neat rows began to look undesirable. Chemical weed control became common. Garden catalogs encouraged people to buy new seeds every season. And slowly, generations grew up seeing resilience itself as a problem. But plants do not disappear simply because people stop appreciating them. They continue growing where conditions allow. And the first plant on this list may already be growing somewhere near you right now. Dandelions are one of the most recognizable plants in the world. Bright yellow flowers appear in spring, followed by jagged green leaves and soft white seed heads that drift through the air with the wind. Children often enjoy blowing the seeds away. Gardeners often rush to remove them. But dandelions are remarkably useful plants. The leaves contain high amounts of vitamin K, along with calcium, antioxidants, and beta-carotene. In some studies, dandelion greens compare very favorably to many popular supermarket greens. The leaves can be eaten fresh in salads when young or cooked like spinach when mature. The flowers are also useful. Some people dry them for tea. Others use them in homemade syrups or traditional recipes passed down through generations. Then there is the root. For centuries, roasted dandelion root has been used as a coffee substitute. During difficult times, especially when coffee was expensive or unavailable, families relied on plants like this because they were dependable and free. What makes dandelions especially interesting is how little they require from people. Spinach often needs careful watering. Lettuce can bolt in heat. Many garden vegetables struggle in compacted soil or changing weather conditions. Dandelions survive almost anywhere. They push through gravel. They tolerate cold temperatures. Their deep roots help them reach moisture hidden far below the surface. Even after repeated cutting, they return again and again. That resilience is not an accident. Nature tends to reward plants that adapt well to difficult conditions. And sometimes those same plants become surprisingly nutritious. Still, dandelions are only the beginning. The next plant offers something many backyard gardens completely lack. Purslane is often overlooked because it grows low to the ground. It has small rounded leaves and reddish stems that spread outward in warm weather. Many gardeners mistake it for an ordinary nuisance plant and remove it immediately. But purslane is unusual. It contains omega-3 fatty acids, the same healthy fats people often seek from fish or supplements. Very few land plants contain meaningful amounts of these fats naturally, which makes purslane especially interesting from a nutritional standpoint. And unlike delicate vegetables that struggle during heat waves, purslane seems almost comfortable in harsh summer conditions. Dry soil does not bother it much. Intense sun rarely slows it down. Even neglected garden corners can suddenly fill with purslane during the hottest part of the season. Many gardeners notice their tomatoes or lettuce struggling in late summer while purslane continues spreading steadily across dry soil. That ability comes from how the plant manages water and sunlight. Purslane stores moisture efficiently inside its stems and leaves, allowing it to survive where many softer plants cannot. In a way, purslane teaches an important gardening lesson. Sometimes the plants that appear strongest are not the ones demanding constant care. Sometimes the most resilient plants are the ones quietly adapting in the background without much attention at all. The next plant surprises many people because it resembles something already familiar. Lamb's quarters often grows near vegetable beds, compost piles, or disturbed soil. Its leaves are soft blue-green, with a pale coating underneath that almost looks dusty in sunlight. At first glance, many people assume it is simply a wild version of spinach. And in some ways, that comparison is accurate. Lamb's quarters has been eaten for centuries in many parts of the world. Traditional communities harvested both the leaves and the seeds. The leaves cook down similarly to spinach, while the tiny seeds are closely related to quinoa. That connection surprises many gardeners because quinoa is often viewed as a modern health food, yet its relative may already be growing freely nearby. The leaves contain protein, iron, calcium, and several important vitamins. And unlike many cultivated greens, lamb's quarters often appears without any planning at all. No seed packets. No raised beds. No irrigation system. Just fertile ground and enough space to grow. Many gardeners spend considerable effort creating the perfect conditions for leafy greens while ignoring a plant producing similar nutrition only a few feet away. Of course, that does not mean cultivated vegetables have no value. Garden crops provide dependable harvests, storage foods, and variety. But wild plants can complement a garden in ways many people no longer expect. And sometimes they fill spaces where ordinary vegetables struggle. Wood sorrel is a perfect example of that. This small plant often grows in shaded corners beneath trees, beside foundations, or along damp fence lines. It has delicate heart-shaped leaves and tiny flowers that may be yellow, pink, or white depending on the variety. Many people mistake it for clover. But wood sorrel has a bright lemony flavor that immediately sets it apart. That pleasant sour taste comes from natural compounds also found in rhubarb. The flavor often surprises first-time foragers because it feels fresh and citrus-like. Wood sorrel contains vitamin C, along with other nutrients, and historically plants like this helped people supplement diets during seasons when fresh produce was limited. One reason wood sorrel is valuable is because it grows where many other plants struggle. Shady areas in a yard are often viewed as difficult gardening spaces. Grass may grow poorly there. Vegetable crops may produce weak harvests. But wood sorrel adapts naturally to lower light conditions. Instead of fighting those spaces constantly, this plant quietly uses them. That idea becomes more interesting the longer a person gardens. Over time, experienced gardeners often notice that nature dislikes empty space. Something always tries to grow. The real question is whether we understand the role those plants may be serving. The next plant is so common that many people barely notice it anymore. Clover appears in lawns, along roadsides, and throughout open grassy areas. Its small leaves and white or red flowers are familiar across much of North America and Europe. But beneath the soil, clover performs an important job. Its roots work together with beneficial bacteria that pull nitrogen from the air and place it into the soil. Nitrogen is one of the nutrients plants need most for healthy growth. Modern agriculture often depends heavily on synthetic fertilizers to supply it. Clover helps create it naturally. For generations, farmers intentionally planted clover to restore worn-out fields. Livestock grazed on it. Bees fed from its flowers. Soil improved because of it. Then synthetic fertilizers became widely available, and many lawns began treating clover as something undesirable instead of beneficial. Today, some homeowners spend money removing a plant that naturally improves soil health for free. Clover also supports pollinators. Bees rely on flowering plants throughout the growing season, and clover blooms provide an important nectar source during warmer months. In a quiet way, clover reminds gardeners that healthy landscapes often depend on cooperation rather than control. Plants, insects, soil organisms, moisture, and weather all influence one another continuously. A perfectly uniform lawn may appear tidy, but it usually supports far less life than a diverse patch of mixed plants. And finally, we arrive at the last plant on this list. This one may be the most valuable of all because of when it appears. Chickweed is a low-growing plant with tiny leaves and delicate white flowers shaped almost like stars. It often spreads in soft mats across cool soil during late winter and early spring. At first, many gardeners barely notice it because larger plants have not started growing yet. But timing matters greatly in gardening. Late winter and early spring have always been difficult seasons historically. Stored foods begin running low. Fresh crops are still weeks away. Soil temperatures remain cold. Chickweed naturally fills that gap. It begins growing before many cultivated vegetables can survive outdoors. In mild climates, it may appear weeks before garden planting season fully begins. The leaves are tender, mild, and surprisingly pleasant to eat fresh. Because chickweed prefers cooler temperatures, it often fades once intense summer heat arrives. But by then, it has already completed its role. It provided fresh greens during the quiet transition between winter and spring. And like many weeds, once chickweed establishes itself, it often returns year after year with very little encouragement. When people step back and look at all 6 of these plants together, a larger pattern begins to appear. None of them require expensive equipment. None require yearly seed orders. None depend on constant watering schedules or complicated fertilizers. And yet together they provide nutrition, soil improvement, pollinator support, resilience, and seasonal food production. That does not mean people should stop growing traditional gardens. Tomatoes, beans, squash, onions, potatoes, and fruit trees remain incredibly valuable. Cultivated crops provide calories, storage foods, and harvests that wild plants alone cannot fully replace. But perhaps modern gardening became too focused on control. Sometimes the healthiest garden spaces are not the cleanest or most perfect-looking ones. Sometimes diversity itself creates resilience. A yard containing only grass often requires constant maintenance. Watering, mowing, fertilizing, spraying, reseeding, and weed control become endless cycles. Meanwhile, mixed plant systems often regulate themselves more naturally over time. Certain weeds loosen compacted soil. Others attract pollinators. Some protect bare ground from erosion. Others provide food during seasons when little else grows. Nature rarely wastes space without reason. And perhaps that is why these plants continue returning year after year despite so much effort to remove them. They are adapted to survive. They understand the soil better than we do. In recent years, many gardeners have slowly begun reconsidering how they view weeds. Some now leave sections of clover for pollinators. Others harvest dandelion greens in spring. Some allow purslane to remain in garden paths during summer heat. Not because gardening standards disappeared, but because observation replaced automatic removal. That shift matters. A calm garden often begins with paying attention before reacting. Of course, not every weed is beneficial. Some invasive species can overwhelm native ecosystems or compete aggressively with crops. Proper plant identification always matters, especially before eating anything wild. Local growing conditions also vary greatly depending on climate, rainfall, and soil type. But many common backyard weeds have histories far older and more useful than most people realize. In some ways, they tell a story about human habits. For generations, people valued resilience because survival depended on it. Plants that returned reliably were treasured. Then modern systems created abundance and convenience, and reliability became less visible. Now, many people are rediscovering the quiet strength of plants that never truly disappeared. And perhaps that rediscovery changes how a person sees a yard altogether. A driveway crack no longer looks empty. A patch of clover no longer feels useless. A dandelion flower no longer seems like failure. Instead, these plants begin to look like small reminders that nature is constantly trying to repair, cover, feed, and restore the land on its own. If you're comfortable sharing, I'm curious whether any of these plants already grow in your yard, and whether you ever noticed them differently before today. Sometimes gardening becomes easier when we stop fighting every natural process around us. And sometimes the garden improves when we simply step back and observe.